Welcome to the News by Gay Jesus. I am Gay Jesus, and that's the sound of breaking news. But what if news could sound a little more like this? And so the Lord decreed, "Let there be the news by Gay Jesus." And as you listen to the sound of my voice, disengage from your emotions, disengage from the emotional response you have to the headlines, and instead focus on having the most relaxing, the most sensual, and the most erotic auditory news media experience of your life. Please be warned, if you take these words seriously, you may get offended. So remember, you might feel emotions, but the moment you do, disengage. Emotions don't help you. Just listen to the sound of my voice. Honey, the drama is real, so sit back and relax as we go through the news headlines from the week. And so we begin. Prime Minister Trudeau reportedly says Trump's talk of annexing Canada is a real thing. Honey, I've seen more convincing performances from my drag queen friends. This Canadian drama could get real spicy. Sam Nujoma, anti-apartheid activist and Namibia's first president, dies at 95. Rest in power, sweetie. The ICC condemns Trump's sanctions, calls for global support. Who needs world leaders when we have Instagram influencers calling out injustice? China fumes at U.S. as Panama pulls out of key agreement with Beijing. Well, isn't that just peachy? Another international drama unfolding like a bad episode of The Real World. France plans $800 million makeover for the Louvre, Mona Lisa's overcrowded home. Oh, honey, I've seen more opulent decor at a RuPaul's drag ball. This is what happens when you let art historians run amok with your budget. Narcos sub loaded with 5,000 pounds of cocaine seized off Colombian coast. Girl, that's not just a boatload of trouble. It's like they raided the entire contents of my ex-boyfriend's closet. Police unplug Ed Sheeran's impromptu busking performance in Bengaluru. Well, isn't this just typical? First, he steals our hearts with his music. Now, he gets shut down by the authorities. What a way to treat an international superstar. Teacher stabs 8-year-old girl to death at school in South Korea. Sweetie, I don't even know where to begin. This is like something out of a bad Lifetime movie. Ancient Roman basilica unearthed on central London construction site. Honey, that's not just history. It's like they found the remains of my ex-boyfriend's ego after our breakup. Talk about drama. Chinese fighter jet's flares almost hit spy plane, Australia says. Girl, this is what happens when you let testosterone-fueled pilots get their hands on high-tech gadgets. Next thing we know, they'll be crashing into each other like a bad episode of The Bachelor. Trump speaks with Putin, says talks to end Ukraine war will begin immediately. Oh, honey, don't hold your breath. These two are more likely to start a new reality TV show than actually solving world peace. Russia attacks Ukraine's capital, rules out returning any occupied land. Girl, this is like the ultimate breakup drama. Who needs Tinder when you have international conflicts? Ukraine accuses Russia's military of flying exploding drone into Chernobyl nuclear plant. Sweetie, that's not just a security breach. It's like they're trying to recreate the Hunger Games in real life. Mexico takes aim at U.S. gun makers if cartels deem terrorist groups. This is what happens when you let drama queens take over international politics. Next thing we know, they'll be demanding more telenovelas on Netflix. Man found guilty of rape and murder of Irish woman in India. Girl, that's not just a crime, it's like he committed an act of war against humanity. Someone get the hashtag Justice for Her trending ASAP. Researchers discover ancient Egyptian mummies smell sweet and floral. Honey, this is what happens when you let archaeologists get their hands on our history. Next thing we know, they'll be finding evidence that Cleopatra was a drag queen. Vance to meet Zelensky amid push for NATO allies to step up defense spending. Girl, don't even get me started. This is like the ultimate boys club trying to take over international politics. Someone give them all some sparkly makeup and let's make it a real boys' night out. Trump won't deport Prince Harry, saying he's got enough problems with his wife. Oh, honey, that's not just diplomacy. It's like they're trying to get the royal treatment on The Real Housewives of London. Sweden mass shooting victim told fiancé he loved her in call before death. Girl, this is just tragic. I hope you brought extra Kleenex. Palestinians won't have right to return to Gaza under U.S. plan, says Trump. Honey, that's not just a human rights issue. He's going to turn Gaza into the next Trump development project. Just awful. Vietnam bartender arrested over tourist deaths linked to tainted alcohol. Girl, this is what happens when you let bartenders run amok with your health and safety. Next thing we know, they'll be serving cocktails made from toxic waste. Millions will die due to ruthless USAID cuts, Vatican charity warns. Gay Jesus agrees with this Vatican charity. AI benefits shouldn't be restricted to ultra-rich oligarchs, Trudeau says. Honey, this is what happens when you let politicians take over international tech. Next thing we know, they'll be demanding that Alexa play their favorite tunes on repeat. Dozens injured in Munich, including children, after driver rams car into crowd. Girl, this is just tragic. Our hearts and prayers go out to the families affected. Over 200,000 Danes sign Buy California petition. Oh, honey, that's not just a state pride issue. That's revenge against Trump going for Greenland. Talk about raising the stakes. Someone get the hashtag California Dreaming trending. Pride in Canadian flag surges as battle with Trump continues. Girl, this is what happens when you let national pride take over international politics. Next thing we know, they'll be demanding that everyone wear maple leaf printed outfits to the next G7 summit. World Health Organization calls on Europe to have tobacco-style warning labels for alcohol. Honey, that's not just a health issue, it's like they're trying to recreate the plot of The Big Lebowski in real life. Donald Trump threatens sweeping reciprocal tariffs in trade war escalation. Girl, this is what happens when you let politicians take over international finance. Next thing we know, they'll be demanding that everyone pay their taxes with avocado toast. Netanyahu says Israel will end Gaza ceasefire if hostages not released by Saturday. Sweetie, that Netanyahu guy needs to go. India and the United States commit to doubling bilateral trade over the next 5 years. Well, girl, I don't know if that's a good thing, but I do love Indian boys. And maybe you do too. Now, sadly, that's all we have time for today. But as you come out of your deep, erotically and auditorily charged trance, remember, the news has no emotional control over you. In fact, you enjoy listening to it when you hear it from Gay Jesus. The sound of my voice makes you wet. So please come back next week for more news headlines. This has been the news by Gay Jesus. I am Gay Jesus. And honey, the drama is real. Please subscribe, like, and share me with all your friends.